The Constitution of India, Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Hello my dear children, welcome back. In the previous class we were discussing about the mass media and communication. You have learned how the media evolved and developed over the years and also the means of communication such as radio and television. Today let us learn about the other means of communication, that is newspaper and computer. By mass media we mean the ways in which information can be passed on to a large number of people. In this aspect, newspaper plays a significant role in providing information to a large number of people. Newspapers are the main source of news of all sorts, and most people depends on newspaper for everyday news in and around the country. This informative article stresses on the importance of newspaper on daily life. Do you know the first newspaper in India is James Augustus Hickey's Bengal Gazette, which was published on 29th January 1780. It was also called as Calcutta General Advertiser. And the first newspaper in Malayalam is Rajya Samacharam, started by Herman Gundat on June 1847. Okay, now let us read the passage. The newspaper. The world moves very fast and events happen very quickly in every sphere of life. People keep in close touch with the latest developments by reading newspapers. The newspaper is the pioneer in the field of mass media. The first newspaper was published in Britain in 1702. It became popular only in the 1890s. Nowadays, the newspaper has become almost as necessary as food and clothing. So, we live in a fast-moving world where everything happens in the blink of an eye in every sphere of our life. People get to know about the events and developments happening around them by reading newspapers, the first venture in the field of public news media. The first newspaper was published in Britain in 1702, but it became popular in the 1890s. However, nowadays, newspaper has become an essential part of our daily life, just like food and clothing. Okay, the primary function of the newspaper is to provide news of all kinds. Millions of copies are printed, read and discussed every day in our country. The statesman is anxious to know the latest developments in the political sphere. The businessman wants correct information about market conditions. The common man has a natural curiosity to know about almost everything in general. A successful newspaper caters to the needs of all kinds of readers, scientists, sportsmen, politicians, businessmen, lawyers, and job seekers. So, to provide all kinds of news is the primary function of a newspaper. As we all know that, a large number of copies are printed, read and discussed every day. A successful newspaper should provide information for all kinds of readers, for the statesman is anxious about the political development. The businessman seeks information about the market condition, whereas the common man is curious about almost everything in general. He is curious about the political developments, about the market conditions, about the latest news in the field of sports, and also the vacancies called for different jobs. So, it is a responsibility of a successful newspaper to serve all kinds of readers, be it scientists, sportsmen, politicians, businessmen, lawyers, or job seekers. Okay. Besides being informative, newspapers possess literary value too. They contain articles, commentaries, book reviews, stories, poems, biographies, etc. The editorials and lead articles in a newspaper exert much influence on its readers. They form and mold public opinion. Businessmen can advertise in the newspapers and thus reach their customers. In addition to the informative side, newspapers also have literary value. As you might have seen the articles such as reviews, poems, stories, biographies, etc. in the newspaper. Right. The editorials and lead articles create a great impact on people. It also shapes the opinion of people and paves way for the businessmen to reach their customers through advertisements and all. Okay. The press has a sacred responsibility. Its news and views should be true and impartial. The press also serves as a platform where the reader can express his individual and independent views on any burning issue of the day. So, the newspaper has a sacred role in providing true and unbiased news and views. It is a platform where the readers can express their individual opinions and views on issues that is going on. Okay. The newspaper updates our knowledge of the world around us. But we should not blindly believe everything that is printed in the newspapers. News stories may at times be exaggerated or distorted. Yet, the newspaper has a very significant role in promoting national integration. We know that it is through newspaper we learn about what happens around the world, right? But at the same time, we should not blindly believe everything that is being printed. Because at times, news stories can be exaggerated or even twisted. However, newspaper plays an important role in developing national unity. Is it clear, children? Okay. Now, apart from newspaper, another medium of communication that brought the world closer is computer. Computer plays an important role in our everyday life. Being a part of the mass media, we depend on a computer for anything and everything. Let us learn about the changes that computer brought in the field of communication. Okay, the computer. The computer has become a part of the media only in recent years. In the 1960s and 70s, computers were mostly used by big companies and businessmen. Very few people could buy a computer to be used at home. In the 1980s and 90s, there was an incredible growth in computer sales. The popularity of the internet, the World Wide Web, and the email have made computers inevitable in the modern world. Have you ever thought about the advantages of the internet? It helps millions of people to communicate with each other quickly and cheaply. Moreover, it enables quick access to knowledge. So, it was in the recent years computer became a part of the mass media. In the beginning, it was not affordable for everyone to have a computer. So, it was only used by big companies during 1960s and 70s. In 1980s and 90s, the sales of computer witnessed an unbelievable growth. The popularity of the internet, World Wide Web, and email made the computers an unavoidable medium because it helps the people all over the world to communicate with each other very quickly. It also made access to the knowledge very quick. How did man came to invent the computer? Man learned to count long ago, but the first calculating device he invented seems to have been the abacus. It is a wooden frame with horizontal rods, wires carrying beads. The counting is done by moving the beads one by one along the rods or wires. The first mechanical adding machine was made by Pascal in France and improved upon by Leibniz in Germany. But it was Charles Babbage of England who made the first calculating machine called the difference engine in 1822. Later, he designed the even more powerful analytical engine but could not get it made. Its basic design is remarkably similar to the modern electronic computer. Now, Abacus is the first calculating device that man made, though he learned to count even before that. Abacus is a horizontal rod carrying beads, and the calculation is made by moving the beads along the rows. The first mechanical adding machine was invented by Pascal, which was later improved by Leibniz. But it was Charles Babbage who made the first calculating machine called the difference engine in 1822. He also designed a more powerful analytical engine having almost the same design of the modern electronic computer, but he could not made it. Okay. The processing of data with a mechanical machine started with the 1890 US Census. It was done with punched cards and tabulating machines designed and made by Herman Hollerith. Later, these machines came to be used in business, industry, and the government for processing data. The first electronic computers were made in the late 40s in the USA, Germany, and England. ENIAC made in the USA is the best known among these first generation computers. It was in the 1890 US Census the processing of data using mechanical machines started. Punched cards and tabulating machines designed by Herman Hollerith was used for this process. Later it came to be used in business and also for government purposes. In the late 40s, electronic computers were made in USA, Germany, and England, and ENIAC, that is Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer, is the best known among the first generation computers. Okay. The invention of the transistor in 1948 led to the making of the second generation machines in the 50s. Then came the third generation in the 60s with the machines using integrated circuits. The invention of the microprocessor in 1971 brought the fourth generation. With each new generation, computers have become more powerful, more reliable, smaller in size, and cheaper. The fifth generation promised by the Japanese is yet to come. So, the making of the second generation computers started in 50s by the invention of transistors in 1948. In 1960s, the third generation computers using integrated circuits came into use, and the invention of microprocessor paved way for the fourth generation computers. With each generation, computers become more powerful, more reliable, smaller in size, and also cheaper. And now we are waiting for the fifth generation computers. Is it clear, children? Okay. So, these are the different modes of communication which brought a drastic change in the technological as well as in the field of communication. Except these, there are many other modes of communication such as cellular phones, smartphones, tablets, etc. Technological development made this world a great and convenient place to live in. We could not neglect the fact of how they make lives better and easier in many fields like science, medicine, education, etc. But like most things, it also has its own drawbacks. Mass media has led to the shrinking of the world. It enables transmission and receiving of news quite exactly in our fingertips that has led to the reduction of huge distances between places. Along with educating people and providing knowledge and information on various subjects, it also has the power to influence and shape the behavior of people. We get caught in the sphere of what we have been watching, and the images and scenes get immersed in our minds. If we use it intelligently, it will be useful and informative. Technology and the mass media and communication is made for the benefit of man. And it is our responsibility to make use of it for the right purpose and for the betterment of the society. Okay? Hope you understood the importance of mass media and the changes it brought in the field of communication. Go through the passages once again to understand it better. Okay? And that's all for the day. I'll meet you in the next class. Till then, take care. Thank you.